Yeah.
There's windows going.
Are we recording?
Yes, you told me that. I'll have to go look.
Like to call to order the Town of Fraser board meeting for February 5th at 6 p.m. Can I have a roll call, please?
Adam Quinlan.
Peggy Smith.
Julie White.
Katie Souls.
And Brian Cirkvanek. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes for the January 22nd, 2025 board meeting.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion passes. Moves us on to open forum. This is for business not on the agenda. You have 3 minutes. You can approach the podium. That's what it's called. And yeah, speak for 3 minutes. Let us know if you're what your name is and if you live in the town of Fraser or not.
Keith Reesberg, Winter Park Town Manager. I do not live in the town of Fraser. With me is our transit manager, Charles McCarthy, and really just wanted to speak to you and follow up with a couple of items that were mentioned at your last meeting regarding the transit system. The first item was a request on relocating a transit stop that is on Old Victory Road. That request is in process. There is a process that we follow on making decisions where and when to move stops. So that's moving forward. So action is going to be taken on that. It will go to our Transit Advisory Committee. And that ultimately, again, will be reported back on when that action is being taken. What we are looking at is it's anticipated that that stop may actually move around the corner from Old Victory Road onto Elk Meadow Drive, I believe it is. So we'll be moving forward with that. The second item that we wanted to speak to is it has been brought up and expressed that there's a concern where one of the night lift drivers is charging people for the use of the service. And what we would ask is if there's anyone specifically that has information on that, we would like to talk to that individual because Charles has reviewed all of the video footage from the night lift, and we are not seeing anything that would document or substantiate that claim that the driver is charging for services. So if there's a specific person that says they have been charged, we would like to talk to that individual so we can know the date, time of that incident, so we can, again, review the video from that bus for that. It is not something that has been, we have not found any video evidence that would substantiate the claim. So that's, again, some information that we would request. The final thing I would just ask is going forward, if there are ever any concerns regarding the transit operations, we would encourage, make contact with your town manager, let Michael know, hey, these are some concerns we've heard. And Michael knows how to get a hold of us, and then we can follow up on those. So that's all I wanted to just address. Any concerns?
Thank you, Keith.
Right. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Anybody else in the audience? Anyone online? Okay. Easy enough. We'll move on. Fraser Valley Arts 2024 recap. Steve Fitzgerald.
See if I can get this up in a proper angle. Howdy, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for making a little time for FVA tonight. My purpose here is really simple. Some of you, I think, are in your first rotation through. Every year at about this time, I come in to just give you an update on our progress. So if you're not familiar with Fraser Valley Arts, we are the not-for-profit that was formed in 2021 at the request of the town of Fraser, the mayor and town manager at that time. And I'm happy to say the support is still strong. asked us to undertake an effort to fund, build, and then operate the Fraser Center for the Creative Arts. I volunteered to lead that effort. In the time since, we have been building a platform to engage with the community, but that platform is mostly about trying to engage for the purpose of fundraising. So whether it's the National Theater Live events that you may have heard about going on at the Foundry this winter, and Fleabag will be shown next Thursday and Friday, so I encourage you to come. Which is, by the way, the National Theater of London in the United Kingdom, or Plein Air at Altitude, which we do every year around Labor Day weekend, the Mural Festival, which we partner with the town. I'm also on the Public Arts Committee here as one of your committees. All of those types of events are aimed at raising a little bit of money, yes, but mostly connecting with potential donors. That strategy has been very successful. At about this time last year, we had around $1 million to $1.25 million committed. Today, I can tell you we have crossed the $3 million threshold. Now, that's including the value of the land, which the town has donated to Fraser Valley Arts, and some grants that are coming. We have recently received a National Endowment for the Arts grant as well, which gives us a little bit of a stamp of a pedigree there that we intend to use to help impress upon other donors. And then perhaps most exciting is that a resident of our town, a resident of your town, has committed up to $1 million in a matching grant that we have just received late last year. That person will give a gift of up to $500,000 of their own money. And then for every dollar we earn in addition from other grants, up to $1 million, that person will match it.
Awesome.
So it's fantastic, right?
Wonderful.
Yeah, we couldn't be more excited. I will tell you that some fear of doing this in a public meeting, that when I undertook this effort, I was thinking it was an if we can pull it off. Now I think it's more of a win. We achieved that. And the partnership that we've achieved with the town and a number of stakeholders in our community. We have over 20 individual organizations or people, couples, etc., most of whom, by the way, do not reside in Fraser. They're in Tabernash, Winter Park, Granby, unincorporated Grand County, who have donated $30,000 or more. And we call them our Founders Circle. We're going to limit that at 25 people. They're our seed capital. So long story short, we have a nice pile of money. We also have the opportunity, because of the matching grant, to earn a lot more. I've recently went down to Denver, spent some time with Senator Roberts and Julie McCluskey, the speaker's staff, took them through this story and enlisting them in the effort. They've been very supportive. We're working with the various state of Colorado entities that are there, and now starting to work on national and regional level grants, because we have proof of strong financial support from our community. And that was really an essential ingredient that we didn't have 3 years ago. The town has been our biggest supporter, both in terms of finances as well as helping us get the word out. And we love that. We appreciate it, and we never take it for granted. So the simple ask we have for you going forward is keep doing what you're doing. Keep telling people why we're trying to do this. Keep stressing that the Fraser Center for the Creative Arts is, yes, a cultural enrichment activity, and it has a lot of goals around engaging our community, whether it be through people learning skills, people using it for other events and weddings and that sort of thing, and up to 75 to 100 performances a year. Here's a really interesting thing about the second part, which is economic development. There's some really good studies that have been done across the arts community. The typical theater goer spends $38 in addition to the cost of their ticket when they go out to see a play or a musical event or a show. If they come from outside the county in which the event is held, that number doubles. So think of the economic impact, the sales tax revenue that would come to this community when the Fraser Center for the Creative Arts exists you know, a short softball throw, maybe a hard ball from here. And people are not only paying for their tickets, but they're also going out to eat. And they're doing that on the reimagined Clayton Court, as well as all our existing businesses. So that's our vision. We're striving to pull it off. We probably need to get to around $6 million before we can borrow the rest, which is what we will do. We're already talking with the main vehicles that the state has for that, and there are several that are aimed specifically at organizations like ours. So we're pretty confident that when we get to that amount of money, we'll be able to then do a bond offering, some low interest rate loans, and we'll break ground and start building. And so with that, I just wanted to say thank you. That's where we're at. I'm hoping that I'm here next year, once again, telling you that we've doubled our assets, that bogey gets a little bit bigger each year. But if I do, we will also be then talking about timing, which would be pretty exciting. So let me pause there and just see if there's any questions that all of you have for us. Great. I'm going to go to dinner.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve.
You bet.
Thank
You bet.
Steve.
And we really do hope to see you all next Thursday or Friday at Fleabag. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers. Thanks.
And we'll see you Saturday at Fire and Ice.
Yeah, that's right. Don't forget Fire and Ice.
That's right.
That is, just, and then if I may, just about everybody who's involved in Fraser Valley Arts is in some way tied to the PAC. And most of us created Fire and Ice, and it's a hoot. And so thank you for continued support for that, for Mural Festival. We have some other ideas, and these two organizations work in tandem to try and bring people to our community.
It's great.
Cool. Cheers.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Steve.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to discussion and possible action regarding resolution 2025-0201 contract with MW Golden for town hall renovations. Paul.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees. We have a resolution before you to enter into contract with MW Golden Constructors for the construction of the Town Hall ADA improvements and the roof renovation. Previous efforts were made several years ago to design the ADA upgrades that were required and provide the roof renovation that included construction documents. The documents were posted in an RFP for construction during this 2025 building season. From that RFP, we received 2 bids for the work. The budget for this is not to exceed $350,000 on a 2025 budgeted amount of $220,000 specifically for this project. The remaining funds will be transferred from the capital projects fund, which has $4.8 million in it for this budgeted year. The bids were not received until after the 2025 budget was finalized, hence shortage. Based on the open bid process, MW Golden has submitted the lowest responsible bid, and staff recommend proceeding to contract with MW Golden Construction. Any questions?
I had a question earlier that Michael answered, but just for the board, we are considering putting doors in the bathrooms and doing ADA ramp
Yes,
at the
so-
back as well.
The decision to provide access to the bathrooms after hours for events was raised after the RFP was posted. And since it wasn't a mandatory pre-bid, not everybody would have been here. So for example, PG Arnold, who was one of the bidders, did not attend that. And so it wasn't fair to have one put that in their bid and be way over. So that will be once we go under contract, it'll be a change order immediately. So for example, for picnic in the park, we could shut them off, lock the inside with a deadbolt, and then have access for everybody there to come use the restrooms.
So those improvements are included in the 350, or that would be an additional
be-
100?
The 350 has some contingency in it,
Mhm.
but we would change it. We would move more money from
It would be
capital.
another 100 grand
Yeah,
or so
yeah.
for them. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of structural work back there
I
since
would
they're
imagine.
load bearing walls, but
I
we
almost said 150.
Great. Any questions? Okay. Anyone want to make a motion?
I move to approve resolution 2025-0201, contract with MW Golden Fox for the town hall renovations.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you, Paul. You keep standing up there because we've got resolution 2025-0202, contract with D2C Architects, Public Works Facility Design.
So as part of a ongoing desire to move the Public Works facility out of Old Town and get the heavy equipment out of residential area, a grant from DOLA was obtained to complete architectural design that was first evaluated, as far as I know, in 2012, and then again in 2020, 2021. So that grant was obtained. As required by the DOLA grant, an RFP was posted to solicit bids from qualified firms. The town received 13 proposals, all of them pretty good proposals. Based on those proposals, the team selected 3 to present in person. So all 3 firms came to town hall and presented to us their vision for what they could do, what they could bring, and the strengths they can bring to us. And as part of that, we selected D2C Architects as the firm best suited to provide the requested services at this time. So the budget for this is set to not exceed 350 on the budgeted amount of 400,000. The DOLA grant is for 200,000 with a $200,000 match by the town. So based on the open bid process, D2C Architects has submitted a proposal that the selection committee feels is best suited to deliver the requirements of the RFP, and staff recommends proceeding to contract with D2C Architects.
I'm assuming all the pictures on the first page are not our rendering.
Right.
They are other projects. from
Yeah, there are other
DTC.
projects, but D2C did bring at their presentation to us, brought 8 layouts for the site that they had already thought through, and we talked through and discussed some of that. So, and they will be in here. We have come up with some ways to reduce the budget as we move into construction, not having as many meetings in person, maybe only sending 1 principal at the principal's rate. But there'll be, the plan is they're going to come talk to town staff. So they'll talk to, the ground level, the people in the streets. They'll talk to the supervisors, then they'll talk to the admin on what we need. And then they're already planning to meet with Grand Park. That discussion has already happened, at least on our end, and Grand Park is open, willing to talk to them, knowing that, West Mountain will be looking down on this and that Elk Creek looks up at it. Just all those things, just to work with them with the annexation agreement. But everything is there and planning through that. Part of this design is also to get County Road 72 paved down through and under the underpass. And so coordination there, it'll be not Grand Park, Byers Peak Properties, the town, and probably the county coordinating on what we do with the underpass and the drainage in there. That's all a problem. But,
The road elevation.
all of that. And D2C is already in the area. They're working with the fire department and moving EMS in some locations there. Also in collaboration with Cornerstone. So there's a lot of them working in the area already on stuff. So they'll be up here. And so they'll be able to coordinate meetings with us, with fire district, and with EMS to reduce costs there. But they brought a strong team, and the engineering firm that's on board has extensive work with the railroad. So there's a plus there as well.
That's useful.
I'm curious where the $350,000 number comes from when we budgeted 400 and half of it's a grant.
Because the bid is 301, and I didn't want to put 100,000 in contingency in there. Because it's going to be,
I guess
going for Seymour.
we're looking at about a $200,000 expense when we have the grant.
so this is,
Right.
we will spend that after they're done and we move into the CMAR, the construction portion design.
Okay,
So it'll get spent, just this contract gets us to a certain point, and then we will engage a builder.
so this is actually approving money for more than just this contract.
This contract would be for 301.
Hmm.
But not to exceed 350 on changes we make or things that we change.
And that's a 1-to-1 match for that grant. So if we only expend 300,000, we only get to use 150 of the grant.
Okay.
For everything, every time we submit an invoice, it has to show 1-to-1 match for everything. We have to be showing 50% for every invoice,
Okay.
up to $200,000. So to leverage the full amount of the grant,
And so
350.
really, we're prepared to spend 550,
We're prepared to
Right.
spend 400
350
total.
and a 200 grant.
No, total
That
would be,
includes the grant,
Yeah.
400.
Oh, okay, okay.
Total price, we can spend up to 400,000 and get all of the money.
The
from
400
COLA.
includes the grant money.
Yeah.
I was
So,
putting it on the side.
but
Okay,
I
you
wasn't
got it.
telling everybody what our number was because I didn't want all of my bids to be
You got it.
400,000, so.
I really like the work that they do. I'm not a big fan of the Winter Park facility. I don't think that's very attractive, but I think any of these would be much better than that. So I think it looks great.
It does look- Yeah, the examples do look nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did Frisco's, I believe. They've got a lot of mountain experience. And the firm from Kimley Horn will be, that firm's out of Aspen, so they have a lot of mountain experience.
Good focus on drainage and ice dams and all that good stuff.
I'm looking forward to having that road paved.
Yeah.
Well, if the costs go too high, that'll be, one of the first things that's gotta go. I don't like the idea of heavy equipment running up and down that dirt road all year round, so. But unpaved, it's gonna be a disaster and muddy mess, so.
Is the county gonna work with us on that or?
Not on that portion, but it's in conversations. So Cornerstone needs to run the sewer line underneath the railroad from the Elk Ranch Road.
Okay.
And so try and just coordinate all of that paving, the work that needs to happen for the Middle Avenue apartment expansion, just all working together. So it'll be a collaborative effort to make sure that we get that portion all straight. But it'd be great if the county would come in and pave it.
Or at least partner.
And it would be great with the county, because
I mean,
have you ever
it's
seen the
their-
semi trucks when they get stuck underneath that railroad? But yeah,
It is their
it'll be
road.
very good to have that addressed.
So Fraser Parkway from the road to the drop. So back to where it stops behind Murdoch's. Right there at Elk Ranch Road is basically where it stops. And then Byers Peak Properties wants to pave it all the way to Saddlehorn. So that would be their cost. The road that goes into the Mill Avenue Apartments by the sledding hill. So it's kind of, half of it would be theirs, half of it would be ours. The county may be partnering with some of it, the drainage that doesn't work, but getting everybody at the table once we get somebody under contract, so.
That's great. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2025-0202, contract with D2C Architects.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. All right, moving on to Downtown Development Authority open board seat, Antoinette.
Thank you, Board. Antoinette McVeigh, Town Clerk. I am presenting on behalf of Sarah Catanzarite tonight, who couldn't make the meeting. She is the interim executive director for the Downtown Development Authority. So the DDA has received a board member resignation, and per the Downtown Development Authority bylaws and in line with section 3125-805, the number and terms of the board shall be determined by a resolution of the Board of Trustees. Board members shall serve staggered terms and shall serve under their term until their term ends. Board member resignations may be accepted by the board in writing and approved via resolution or motion. Provided that the board member resigns, such person's position shall be deemed vacated, and the Board of Trustees shall appoint a new board member or for the remainder of the term in accordance with the revised statutes, or determine that the vacancy will not be fulfilled at this time, provided that at least 5 board members remain. In June of 2024, the Board of Trustees passed Resolution 2024-0603, establishing the DDA Board. We were made up of 5 to 11 members and appointing 11 members to the initial DDA Board. Based on the volume and quality of applicants at the time from the individuals interested in serving the DDA Board, it was determined that 11 members would initially be appointed, and there would be flexibility moving forward regarding the size of the board. On January 14th, the DDA Board accepted the resignation of Angela Nichols. Angela had been unable to attend the scheduled DDA Board meetings due to ongoing scheduling conflicts. And she emailed her resignation to the DDA on December 14th, 2024. As an initial board terms are staggered per the revised statutes, 2 current board seats will expire this October 2025, and the DDA board recommends to you guys waiting until this time to evaluate and potentially fill that current open seat. Action on this matter can be taken via a motion by the Board of Trustees to fill the seat at this time, not fulfill the seat at this time, or wait until October to act regarding the open seat. And Angela Nichols' seat actually expires in 2028, and we have the two terms that expired this October 2025.
So if we wait to fill, we'll have 3 vacancies for this October. Is that right?
Correct. Yes. So currently there are 10 members on the board. While it does leave a even number of members on that board, based on their voting so far, there's not been a close vote of a split of almost a yay or nay vote. And generally at the meetings, often there is at least a member that may not be present at the meetings.
And the consensus of the board at that meeting was that we should just wait. Because to bring somebody else up to speed on all that information too, it'd be better just to bring 3 people up to speed at the same time.
Any questions from me?
So what do we have to do?
So you could just make a motion, how the board would like to proceed, fill the vacancy, wait till October, whatever the board's pleasure is.
And what's our process come October? We'll get a slate of candidates similar to the last time?
Correct.
And they'll be here to introduce themselves?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Want to make a motion?
Thank you. Thank you.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Good decision.
thanks.
Thank you.
6:27. On to updates. I have one update. I just had a meeting with CDOT a couple hours ago, just about mountain passenger rail. They want resolutions from all the towns that are getting stations for the mountain rail. And it's pretty basic. It's basically just kind of tooting our own horn on the things that we're doing around the station that they want to see. So affordable housing, multimodal transportation, a downtown walkable area. Like Fraser, we're like the poster child for them. So it's just kind of a way for us to look good and for CDOT to look good. So we'll put that resolution together for the next board meeting if we can.
Yep, I've already got a mail.
Cool. Oh, and that'll also probably help us get grants. So there's like 4 or 5 bills out there, 3 I think that have passed, 1 that's still to come, that will give grants to areas around train stations. So
Wonderful.
we could do business enhancements. We could do we could build a train station if we wanted to.
Would the ACE sell us that back into their lot?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So
Be cheaper than the
yeah.
land.
Anyway, money could be coming our way with this resolution too, so that's good.
Or the bank.
So in, thinking DDA too, I'm assuming it was the 2 Sarahs put together a wonderful, link and promotions for deals for train travelers. And there's now new signage there at the train station when you first get off. Be looking at more. I can't find it in here, but Sarah sent me it earlier, and it's really well done. And you know, it's a place where you could share it on Facebook or wherever you wanted. And but they did a great job. Thank you.
Yeah, last time, didn't she have some stats on how many had already looked at it? Just off of.
She has some. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
She'll include it in the next quarterly update.
Was that last meeting when I was
It must have
here?
been, yeah, yeah. you weren't here. Yeah.
I missed that one.
Okay. But no, that was pretty interesting to
Cool.
hear that response.
All right.
Got a few things.
Okay.
So following some great work from the other Sarah right? We have been invited to present to DOLA on March 4th for 2 different grants. $2 million for St. Louis Landing infrastructure for the bridge and plant investment fees to have those prepaid through this grant, and $1 million specifically for the childcare facility. So we'll be doing those presentations and
What was the second one?
for the childcare facility.
Okay, gotcha.
1 million for the childcare facility. So we'll be presenting on that in early March. And we will also be presenting to the Fraser River Valley Housing Partnership Board on February 24th for funding the gap for St. Louis Landing for building C and E for phase 1. And Brian and I have also been working on the board retreat location and timeframe and agenda, and we'll hopefully have that hammered out here in the next few weeks.
Well, the Fraser Valley Partnership for Housing, is that right?
Fraser River Valley Housing Partnership.
You, has Robert been replaced or?
Rob has not been replaced yet. We've been having active discussions. We actually had a discussion earlier today
Mhm.
with the working group, which has the managers and assistant managers from each of the towns and some representation from the county. And currently working through what that looks like using our existing, our current consultants right now and looking at how that role could potentially evolve and how the working group can kind of work as an interim between now and then. I think based on the conversation that we had this morning and previous, we're probably looking at a couple months before bringing in a new executive director for the housing partnership. And they do have contracts through Castlewood, who was involved in our process for our development agreement for St. Louis Landing, and with Holland Hart, who we have some experience with as well, for their legal representation. So kind of looking at, it's a constant thing trying to figure out as far as what the housing partnership wants to be when it grows up. And we're also looking at some professional facilitation. Similar to what the town, if you look at the end of all of our agendas, it talks about the board and staff and how different roles and responsibilities. And I think we think that may be some work that the housing partnership board needs to kind of go through to have some good responsibilities, understanding of their roles in this new board. That's, a couple of years old now, but still relatively trying to figure out what to do with the limited funding they have available and how it'll be the most impactful for providing for affordable housing in the county.
Sarah Catanzarite and Peggy and I went to the cast meeting last week in Breckenridge as well. It's a really good conference. I would encourage the rest of the board to go to it in the future. First of all, it finishes with a day of skiing, so that's always fun. So we got there Wednesday night. There's a little get together on Wednesday night, so you get a chance to talk to other municipalities that have the same issues that we do. And then Thursday is kind of an all-day conference. So we talked about affordable housing, talked about geothermal. There was a tour of an affordable housing project in Breckenridge, and then a dinner all together. So yeah, a good opportunity to network and learn about all of us having the same problems and how we're solving them. Anything else? Stuff? Okay.
Oh, I maybe just introduce our new deputy clerk, Wendy Bourne. She started with us just this week. Like to say a few things, Wendy? Introduce yourself. Yeah.
My name's Wendy Bourne. I have been in this county. I came up in 1997, so I have been here for a long time. Raised my boys here. Business owner, several businesses. Well, I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Great.
Glad to have you join us. Okay. Julie, you can do the honors.
Righty.
I move to enter into 2 executive sessions. The first executive session for a conference with the town attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS section 24-6-402 4B for the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and or instructing negotiators under CRS section 24-6-402 4E regarding reopening of public right-of-ways and easements, including Town Manager Michael Brack, Town Attorney Kit Whitmer, and Public Works Director Paul Johnson. The second executive session, I keep going, okay. For the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and/or instructing negotiators under CRS Section 24-6-402 4E regarding Joint Facilities Oversight Committee Agenda Review, including Town Manager Michael Brock, Public Works Director Paul Johnson, Wastewater Plant Superintendent Joe Fuqua, and Tetra Tech Jenna Barker.
I second both of those motions.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We will be adjourning immediately after the executive sessions with no decisions made. So,
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a statement with regard to the first executive session. It's my opinion that the matters that will be discussed during the first executive session are privileged, and therefore that executive session does not need to be recorded.
thanks all.